Hello everyone, welcome back to another vlog. It's Thursday and I have my psychologist appointment soon. So I'm just eating some breakfast. I'm eating crunchy nut. Haven't had it in a while. I'm having it as a treat. I also found my hair crimper, which I thought was lost forever, but I found it. Went a bit crazy, crimped my hair, so I don't really know how to style it. So it looks a bit wild, so I'm going to try and tame it before I go out and see my psychologist, because he'll literally be like, what have you done? It's been one of those weeks though, so a bit chaotic. So I have my surgery on Monday, so I've got 3 more days and then I'm going to surgery. So it's a little bit scary. I'm not sure whether to vlog it or not. I'm still thinking about it. I think it would be good to, for other people going through a similar thing that I'm going through, to see what the surgery is like, the recovery, all that process. When you're going through something sort of with someone else and you have something to look at and resources and that, it does make it that tiny bit more easier because you feel less alone. And I feel like when I went through it the first time, I was so retracted from the community. Like, I hadn't met other people who were going through it. I didn't know about the resources. I didn't really know about the condition at all. So I went into it very blind, and it made me feel very lonely and very withdrawn and that sort of thing. So this time I think I will, because if I can help someone else going through a similar thing, then that would be good. So I'm going to eat my breakfast really quickly, put on a bit of makeup and a cute outfit, tame this hair, and then get going. So I haven't actually checked in since the surgery at all, so it's been rough. I'm at day 10 or 11 of recovery. I lose track of time, but basically the procedure did go well. They were happy that there were no new lesions. They had to cut away quite a few adhesions. They found that my ovary had actually been stuck to itself by a cyst, which obviously, because of the pain that I have daily, I didn't even notice that that was going on. So it's crazy to think that that had happened. Those things can actually turn quite serious, because once they stick to themselves, they twist, and it can be a whole problem. So I'm glad that was sorted out. So then when I was in recovery, I didn't do quite well on the anesthetic, we think. I was sort of in and out of, not consciousness, when you're asleep but you keep waking up, but I don't really have any recollection of it. But Mum says I was just babbling and talking and wasn't making sense. But then suddenly my heart rate spiked and went really, really high, and they were really concerned about it. They had to bring in the emergency. They said to my mum it was an emergency, and they had to bring in the urgent care team. So a whole bunch of nurses come in. They were checking everything, checking for blood loss, checking all my vitals. The anaesthetist was still present at the hospital, which was really great, and he came in to help, which was lovely. He was so nice, so calm. They did a couple of tests on my blood by a finger prick. They gave me some medication into my IV to help bring my heart rate back down. They gave me 3 shots of that before it worked, and then they just monitored me for a little bit to make sure that it was stable. So that was quite stressful and quite scary, because one, you're out of it after having surgery, and then things like that happen and you don't really feel in control because you're so out of it. And we didn't know what was going to happen, but thank goodness that everything was okay. I managed then to get discharged and come home. Obviously I'd been quite anxious about the heart rate thing, especially the first few days after the hospital, being quite aware of it, not wanting to get too stressed or not wanting my heart rate to rise again, worried about it, but trying not to think about it too much, trying to focus just on the recovery, which has been okay. I had quite a lot of pain the first, I'd say 3 or 4 days, so I was on some strong pain relievers, but they made me feel super out of it. So I stopped taking them, just been on Panadol and Nurofen, which has been enough. For the gas pain and the shoulder tip pain, it wasn't too bad. Last time it was probably worse, I'd say, but heat packs worked fine. The gas tablets worked fine, and that really helped. Been drinking lots of peppermint tea, which has been helping a lot. been eating lots of healthy foods, lots of salads, lots of lentils, lots of stuff to try and help boost me back up. The first few days, because of the pain relievers I was on, I didn't have much of an appetite, but made sure I've been eating. Mum has been looking after me beautifully, making sure I have everything I need. Today's actually the first day that I'm home alone, which is, 10 days after, which is crazy. So been sitting in the sun when I can outside. Obviously, I can, now I can walk around and do that perfectly, but at the start I couldn't stand up properly. You can't stand up straight because of the pain. So I was just sitting a lot, sitting on the couches, which I'm still sitting a lot because they encourage you not to do too much strenuous activity or not lifting anything or that sort of thing. The main thing now that for me has been really difficult is sleeping, because it's hard to get comfortable when you've got incisions on your stomach, and when, for me, I'm a stomach sleeper, and that's not really possible at the moment. So I'm not getting a lot of sleep, which is making me feel awful in the day. And then today, randomly, I've just had a lot of nausea. I was sitting outside in the sun with my dog trying to get a bit of fresh air, and I just felt so nauseous all of a sudden and had the sudden need to throw up. So I took some anti-nausea tablets that I've got and I was given at the hospital. So took them, just been sitting in bed with a book. But I thought I'd talk about, what happened in the surgery and how I've been feeling, just to follow on with that bit of wanting to get my message across and relate to other people who may be having a similar experience coming up. So honestly, it hasn't been horrific. It's just been difficult, if that makes sense. So, it's difficult doing stuff. It's difficult when you feel uncomfortable, but we're getting there day by day, bit by bit. I've given myself a long time to recover. I'm not due back to work for another 4 weeks, so that's really good. So then hopefully by then I'll be fully able to do everything, which is what I want, to just go back in fully recovered. But that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just reading a book now. I'm reading Alan Rickman's diaries. So this was published at the end of last year by his wife. I don't know if I've talked about this in a vlog before, but it's really good. I'm right at the end now. I've got about 2 more years of his life left, which is quite sad. It's a good read, but every year you get through, it makes you realize less and less of his life, and he would have obviously had no idea that was going to happen. So that's pretty sad. But other than that, I've been watching lots of YouTube videos. I watched the movie In Time yesterday with Justin Timberlake in it, which was really good. Never seen that before. Me and Mum watched The Whale. That was also really good, very sad. We've been watching The Ultimatum on Netflix. What other things have I been watching? Reruns of Dance Moms, because I love that show. Simpsons, Family Guy, just really, RuPaul, really easy watch things, which has been great. Tonight we're getting takeaways, so that'll be really good. We're having pie and chips, so that's my one job for today, to order that before Mum gets home. And then got nothing else planned. In the worst way, having this surgery has been nice, just to be home and not having to do anything and just focusing solely on resting, which for me is really hard because I always have a million things on the go, as you've seen in my vlogs, but it's nice to not have those things and to just rest and focus on my health and my recovery, which is very important right now. But I've been talking for a long time, so I'm going to go and I'll check in with you guys at some other point.